Hello and welcome back to Rise of Flight for what is the first video in almost 2 months now. If you've never seen one of my Rise of Flight videos before, I will tell you up front that I'm still learning to fly in this game. I've only had one aerial engagement so far, and I've done 5 videos or so, and it's just me, piece by piece, improving my flying skills, and eventually I am hoping to be pretty efficient at the game. So it's more just an opportunity for me to talk about aviation history, particularly in World War One. If you're looking for kind of intense combat videos in Rise of Flight, probably not the right video at this point in time anyway. But if you're interested in kind of history of the planes, I'm going to be talking plenty about that. Let's have a look at our aircraft. We're going to be flying the Fokker E.II here. We've been in this aircraft a couple of times, posing as various different things, including Fokker E.I.s or E.II s, Moran Saulniers as well. This time we're actually going to be flying one of our Fokkers, which I think is what we were flying last time out. Let's go back to our mission here. And you'll see the date is now the 27th of September 1915. So 104 years ago. That's how I've been playing through it so far. Just doing the days that I publish the videos will be the day that the mission I'm playing is actually set. So we're in the diary of Otto Spiegler here, who I was flying last time out. It's the third time I've flown as this guy. 7 weeks have passed since my brush with death. News of my aerial combat over Lille has travelled in that time, and now I have the dubious distinction of being the third pilot from FFA-62 to have brought down an enemy aircraft using a 9-decker. At first, Command was unwilling to credit me with the victory due to the near loss of one of our own aircraft. I must admit I was surprised when the photographer and journalist arrived at my barracks looking for an interview. As it transpired, German propaganda has twisted the tale of my collision into a desperate but noble sacrifice. Since then, I've seen my face in the papers alongside Immelman and Bolk. The truth, however, shames me, and my fellow pilots now look at me with both bemusement and disdain. They know that I had not intended to crash. A new Oberursel UI has been delivered to my temporary camp, where my aircraft has been grounded since early August. The mechanics have been hard at work since then, replacing the damaged unit, and it is now ready to fly. I have received my orders. My final flight for FFA-62 is to return the Iron-Decker back to our base outside Douai. I don't know if I'll be able to look my commanding officer in the eye, but I doubt he'll have a chance to reprimand me. So, last time out, we flew from our airfield outside Douai here. We went north just to do a patrol, and then we got into an engagement with a DH-2 over Lille, and then we brought him down somewhere around here. And we brought him down, not by shooting him down, but with an unintentional collision. He came off worse than me. He crashed and died. Whereas I was able to just about bring my aircraft down in one piece, minus the propeller and probably a damaged engine. And I think we saw this airfield somewhere close when we were coming down. We certainly were dogfighting above it at one point. So that's where my aircraft has been brought to, where it's been repaired, and it's where we're going to be flying from today, heading back south. Let's finish reading the diary entry here. When the journalist came knocking, I was surprised. When the generals came, I was stunned. I could not believe that they had come to Lille specifically for me. It turns out that I'm more than just a novice pilot now. I'm a political asset. Germany and our allies have been hard at work these past few months securing a new alliance with Bulgaria to the southeast. As part of the arrangement, Germany has agreed to send 3 Eindeckers, and German pilots to fly them, to Sofia, the Bulgarian capital. Apparently news of my exploits has travelled even that far, and they were very pleased to hear I was one of the pilots that would be arriving to bolster their own fledgling air force, or so I'm told. Of course, the real story is now a closely guarded secret. No point spoiling such a sweet deal. I guess I owe whatever propaganda official is behind this deal a drink, since it has now, in effect, removed me from the harm's way, both of the bloody fighting on the Western Front and from the retribution of FFA-62. Alright, without further ado, let's begin this mission. Okay, here we are in the cockpit then, and you can see it's pretty late in the day and it started raining, and from the look of the windsock over there, it's not the best flying conditions. That was not the button I wanted to press. Let's see if we can start the engines here. I want to taxi out to a place where I can hopefully... Have I got my mixture set? Okay, there we go. It's been so long since I played this game, I can't even... remember which way the right mixture was. Come on. I'm gonna hit this. No, I'm fine. Let's see if we can line ourselves up with the wind. Anything ahead of us? No, we're fine. Okay, plenty of space ahead of us, let's go. Going vaguely in the right direction of the wind. And we're up. Okay, pretty smooth takeoff conditions. I'm still learning the editor as well, so I'm not sure how strong I made the wind or the rain either. I think I'm happy with the both levels. First thing I gotta do, find my compass here. You want to be heading south, but what I want to do is find no man's land really, and then follow it south. How do I zoom in on that? I'm not sure, we'll need to look up map controls later. I can see that there's a... well, let's go west first. Southwest. Lil's off to our left there. That's where we had our fight. We came down in these trees somewhere. You can't see very far, the weather's like this. I don't want to spend all day getting home either. Like I said, it's quite late in the day. It'll be getting dark soon, and I need to be able to see the trees for landing. Now, one thing I'm going to do from now on is edit the videos more than I was. I think before I was uploading the entire files right the way through, regardless of what was happening. I think this point on, I'm just going to cut them shorter, so if there's any time or ever a time when nothing is happening and I've got nothing to talk about, I'll just skip forwards. But I have a couple of things, one of which I mentioned in the mission briefing, and that was that Bulgaria is about to join the war. Now, on the 27th of September, Bulgaria received 3 brand new Eindeckers E.III.s, which really surprises me because they would have been state-of-the-art and not many of them on the Western lines yet. But they were sent to Bulgaria, their capital city, because not long after, Bulgaria announced that it had joined the war on the side of the Central Powers. Both sides were trying to get Bulgaria's allegiance. It was really crucial for the Central Powers so they could have a trading route, particularly for oil, between Germany and the Ottomans and Turkey. Still heading southwest. Where is no man's land? Should be over there. I can't see very far. Let's adjust our mixture a bit. I'm over a river here. If this river is the larger one that goes south from Lille, or southwest, I will just follow it because it's going to take me to... there's like a confluence, I forget the word, with 2 rivers just near no man's land, and then I can follow this river south from there until I find Douai. So let's just keep heading this direction. We're still okay on the compass. Still can't see no man's land over there. It's amazing how much the distance you can see is reduced in this weather. Because I mean, I could almost see Lille and Douai from both airfields before, but there's no way I can't even see no man's land now. Anyway, so yeah, 3 planes dispatched to Bulgaria. With German pilots still, they weren't part of the Bulgarian Air Force, which was one of the tiniest air forces that there was in World War I. I think only a total of 9 planes at the start of the war, I seem to remember reading. which makes it one of the smallest to have an official air branch. Still part of the army, of course. They weren't separate. If I'm not mistaken, the British were the first to make a whole different separate entity later in the war. It was 1918, I think. A ways off from us now. I'm looking for these rivers to meet. Is this two rivers? I don't think it is. It like splits. And there's a town in the middle. Is that on the map? Yeah, I think I can just... Okay, so rivers should be meeting just up ahead. There's no man's land though. Maybe it's just so grey it's just blurring into the horizon. Very dreary weather. So Otto Spiegler is one of the pilots that's going to be going to the Balkans to defend Bulgaria. But since that is not a battlefield that is part of Rise of Flight, I'm probably just going to retire this character. Maybe he'll come back later. Plenty of pilots moving around. Is that two rivers meeting there? Yeah, I think it is. That's the one that goes into no man's land. So let's just follow this river south. Kind of an unintentional parallel between my first combat and aviation history as well. The first person ever to bring down an enemy aircraft was a Russian pilot, whose name I forget, and it was through ramming. Unfortunately, he lost his own life in the attempt, but both aircraft came down. I did a little better than him, but I think the next pilot, or at least the first pilot to bring down another aircraft without the loss of his own life, was another German pilot, sorry, not German, Russian pilot, that would go on to become one of the first Russian air aces. And he too did so by ramming, which is how we took down that prototype DH-2. Not how I planned to do it when I set up the mission, but hey, it worked. It was pretty embarrassing for me, but I thought it would be good just to keep it in, so one day I could look back on the video and see how hopeless I was, because I really was not good. Okay, see, I'm kind of nervous because I can't really see no man's land there, unless that's it, right on the edge there, just beyond that bridge. I will trust in my navigation skills and just head south here. Does it kink to the left up ahead? Yeah, it does, quite significantly. And then so we can probably cut this kink out. So this way. I don't want to go too high here. I'm only just over 500 because I'll just go up into the clouds, and these are thick, horrible clouds, and without an artificial horizon, it is so easy to get turned around. You can think you're flying straight, then look down at your compass, and it's just spinning madly, or you're going in completely the wrong direction. It's so easy to get lost in the clouds. I don't know how a World War I pilot would have, or a World War I plane would have got on with weather like this. I guess it would have been a nightmare to see, but in theory possible. The wind is probably quite low for the kind of rain we're seeing here. I imagine it would have been a very nervous experience, both the plane and pilot. Getting a little bit darker. What time is it? It is 7:10. Oh wait, I think I'm going to skip ahead here. And you'll probably notice it's a little bit darker by the time I get to Due. I'm also doing this mission on the day that the planes would have arrived in Bulgaria, but of course they weren't flown from France all the way to Bulgaria in a single day, especially not this time of night. But one of the interesting things I found out was that Bulgaria was still using the Julian calendar at the start of World War I. And I think they changed it only afterwards. So their calendar was a week and a half, I think it was 11 days, maybe more, behind the rest of the world, or most of the world. I think the Russians were also using this antiquated calendar. So you see, when you're reading sources about things that happened on the Eastern Front in World War I, it's very easy to get confused about what days things actually happened, and you'll see sources often disagreeing because somebody forgot to translate, or sometimes a translation's happened twice, where somebody is referencing another source that has changed the dates and then not realised it, changed the dates even further. So if that makes sense. So the planes wouldn't arrive in Bulgaria for another 10 or so days after the 27th of September. I think that's it just there. Yeah, that's definitely a city. You can see a cathedral in the middle there, just about right over my machine gun there. So my aerodrome must be down in the fields somewhere over in that direction. We'll fly to town first, because I think that'll give us a good approach angle. Looking for an aerodrome. I don't see one, but surely this is the town. It must be. Does it say... No, it's not a railroad. Seems to curve around. So my airfield is to the west. Easy to spot them during the day, less so in this kind of weather. Balloon way up in the air there. Marks the location of town. Probably a little bit too high, actually. Right up in the clouds, can barely see. Speaking of barely see, I can not for the life of me spot my... Oh, there it is, it's right there. Okay, probably coming in a little bit too fast if I dive now. So we might need to sweep around by a bank of trees. I'll try to remember that for future. Flying into the trees here. I'm going to pull up for them, don't worry. I'm just trying to scrub off some speed. We're going into the wind, I believe. Yeah, vaguely. It was blowing southeast. Oh, blimey. I didn't hit the ground there, but this is not the smoothest landing. Another plane just there. Put my tail skid down. Oh, stop. Okay. Exactly as I meant to. Perfectly into the hangar. Didn't even hit the walls. I'm sure the techs in this base will be impressed. Okay, take a deep breath. And that's the end of the mission. And it's the end of Otto Spiegler for now. He is away to Bulgaria. So we're going to have to find another new favourite pilot. We've done 3 missions for him, 1 for everybody else. But I have another 3 missions planned for the next 3 days. So you can join me then if you want to see more. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate all the views. And I will be back soon. Thanks again.